So let's go ahead and look at an example for editing files. This video will handle the process of completely editing the file, including both the Word document and the related PDFs. The subsequent tasks required for changing any corresponding content on the website, both text and downloadable information, will be separate videos. So please note that. All right, so we're going to go ahead and update the internship fact sheet. So if I look at my list here, which in the first video we recommended that you have on hand, I'll see that the internship is 14 and that fact sheet is 14.1. The other thing I'll notice here, it's got a W next to it, which means that I am indeed going to be updating the document as well as web page content. So this change is going to carry through to multiple instructional videos. So let's go ahead and find that document so that we can update it. So I'm already in Dropbox, NYC DOE WBL Toolkit. I'm going to go ahead and go to 14, internship. And then I'm going to go ahead and open that fact sheet right here that I need to edit. Great, so let's look at how updating the internship fact sheet creates other work. So I can do two kind of edits on this, and one would be one where all the page numbers stay the same, and one would be one where it affects the page numbers. The difference is really just in the amount of tasks that I have. So if I wanted to change to a document, the first thing that I need to do is go ahead and just save a copy of this current one, just in case, you know, I mess something up. I want to be able to go back to the document I had. So there's an archive folder for that. So if I look in here and I go back to the main folder and I go into archive, before I change anything, I want to go ahead and just save this. So let's just save it. And so now I have something to go back to. Next thing that I want to do, since this document had a W next to it in my documents list, which means that there is a web page version, is if you've got a separate person from yourself making the changes on the website, then you're going to want to make it easy for them to know what has changed. And so to do that, you're going to want to go ahead and put track changes on and send them that version of it so that they know what's going on. So just for the sake of argument, if I change this to 80 hours, and as you can see now there's this nice red line here, then I'd want them to be able to see that really easily. Otherwise, if you don't tell them what's changing, then your poor web person ends up either having to try to compare the web page and this document, or they'll just cut and paste all of it all over again so that they don't miss anything. So I would go ahead and just save this and then just email that to them. And then this way they have it. Now, for your purposes, you're going to want to have, the final PDF. You don't want to see all that. So you're going to want to go ahead and accept all your changes now that you've sent them one where the changes are marked. And then you're going to want to go ahead and make sure that you save the updated file. in the actual folder. So yes. Go ahead and go back to the original folder because this is where all the final documents are. And save it like that. Yes, I want to replace the existing file. And then so now I've done step 1, which is to change the document. We will go ahead and look at this again when we need to do something where the pages are affected. Meanwhile, we're going to want to go ahead and make this a PDF. So we can just go ahead and replace that here. Internship back sheet. And obviously, if it wasn't still June 2018 right now, I would change that to July 18 or whatever month it was. Just waiting for that to generate. Then here I am, I've got the updated file as a PDF that now says that it's 80 hours. Next thing that I'm going to need to do is update the full toolkit file. So basically I'm going to replace the PDF pages that I just changed in this full version. And then after that, we're going to save it as a reduced size. So I've got the full toolkit open in Acrobat. You're going to want to go ahead and go here, and we're going to want to find where that document exists. So my recommendation is, we see the internship guide starts on page 165, but since we're replacing a very specific thing, I would go ahead and use this table of contents. So here I am at the part of the full set that I need to replace. Right here it says 60 hours, but I've updated this to 80. I can see it's a 2-page document. Yep. So I just need to select it on the side here. Basically in this panel, if I do this and I right click it, then I can replace these pages. And so I want to go ahead and replace these with the ones that I just did. So internship, and I would go ahead and just replace it with that. And then I say, yep, I want to do that. Now, are you sure? Yes, I am. Now I'm just waiting for it to load. And there, now that's replaced. And so now it says 80. So the next thing I'm going to need to do is update my page numbers. So if you look here at pages that were already there, you see it says 169. But then the pages that I inserted don't seem to have page numbers in the footer. So we're missing 167 and 168. So this is easy enough to do. I will say, though, that where this is located in Acrobat is going to change based on the version of Acrobat you have. Ultimately, you're going to want to go to Tools and Edit PDF, at which point you should see the option to update your header and footer. And all that's doing is meaning that it's running through and reapplying the pagination again. So I don't want to change any of this, so I'm just going to click OK. And then it's going to update them all. And then if I look now, all of a sudden I've got pages 167 and 168, which is great. So at that point, I'm going to want to make sure that I save. So go ahead and save that. And then the last thing that I'm going to want to do is create a reduced version of the file, because this file is pretty big. Well, I'm going to do that by going to File. If I go to Save as Other, I have reduced size PDF. And so at that point, I just tell it that I just want it to be with the latest version or later. You know, Acrobat Reader is free. So either folks are paying for Acrobat Writer to see this stuff, at which point it's a subscription service and it should be up to date, or Acrobat Reader also. Anyways, there just isn't the same need like there used to be to go back to all these versions. And by default, it does do that, which is why the file's so big. For example, 4.0, I think that might be a 15-year-old version, so it's just not needed. So just do that, and then click OK. And then you're going to go, into the toolkit, go ahead and do small file, and then you're going to click Save. So one more thing that we want to cover, just in case, is if when you edited that document, if it caused there to be a new page. So like if it was a 2-page document and you turned it into a 3-page document, then you do all the things that we just talked about, but then there's a couple extra steps after. So I'm going to go ahead and take you through that real quick. So if your editing of an existing document in the kit caused a page increase, then you need to, after you've done the things that we just did, you need to update the table of contents. And just in case you're wondering, the reason you do that after you adjust the page numbering is because the table of contents isn't included in the page numbering. So I'm in the Dropbox, went to TOCs, and so there's 2 separate table of contents in here. There's the main one, and then there's the one where it's broken down by what kind of tool it is. Main one. So we had updated the fact sheet inside the internship guide, and so it looks like this guide comes after. So if I had an extra page, then obviously this would become 274, and then obviously these would become 292 and 330 and so on. So just take a look at how you've impacted the pagination and make sure you update the table of contents. You're also going to need to do that in the secondary one that's like this. And it gets a little tricky because this is not all in numerical order. So, if I update the fact sheet on here, I need to go through and make sure that I update the page numbers on every single one of these. When I'm done with that, I'm going to create a PDF just like I did before. I'm going to insert that PDF into the overall larger toolkit just like I did before. And then I'm going to save it just like I did before. And I'm going to save it as a reduced file size just like I did before. And that's it. So now let's proceed to videos where we talk about how you insert and update the stuff on the web.